I don't mean physically. I mean, why do you bother? Why do you work 40 hours a week to get a promotion? Why do you save money? Why do you want to have children? Why do you care if your favorite sports team wins the championship? You probably tell yourself it's because you have goals. You have ambition. You want to be successful. You want to be happy. But what if I told you that is all a lie? What if I told you that every single thing you do, from the clothes you wear to the political party you vote for, is just a desperate, subconscious attempt to distract yourself from the only truth that actually matters? The truth is that you are going to die. You are going to rot. And eventually, the universe will forget you ever existed. That thought is so terrifying, so psychologically destructive, that your brain has built an entire fortress of illusions to keep you from looking at it. You call this fortress your life. Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about terror management theory, the darkest and most convincing explanation for why human beings act the way they do. To understand this, we have to look at the unique curse of being human. We are in a difficult biological position. On one hand, we are animals. We have a biological drive to survive. We want to live, just like a lizard or a zebra wants to live. But on the other hand, we are highly intelligent. We are the only animals on Earth that can conceptualize the future. We can do math, we can write poetry, and we can predict the consequences of time. This creates a terrifying paradox. We have a biological drive to live forever, coupled with the intellectual certainty that we will die. Ernest Becker, the anthropologist who inspired this theory, called us gods with anuses. We have the minds of gods, capable of imagining infinity, but we are trapped in bodies that are destined to decay and disappear. If you thought about this constantly, really thought about the fact that you are a temporary pile of meat hurtling toward oblivion, you wouldn't be able to function. You would be paralyzed with terror. So, how do we survive? How do we get up and go to work at the bank when we know the bank is going to turn to dust? We invent culture. Terror management theory argues that human culture, religion, nations, art, careers, sports, is a shared delusion designed to give us symbolic immortality. Since we can't live forever physically, we try to live forever symbolically. We try to become part of something that will outlast us. This comes in two flavors. First, there is literal immortality. This is religion. Almost every religion promises that death is not the end. If you follow the rules, if you pray to the right God, you will go to heaven, or Valhalla, or you will be reincarnated. This is the most direct buffer against the terror. I won't die. I will just move to a better neighborhood. But for those who don't believe in the afterlife, or for whom that isn't enough, there is symbolic immortality. This is why we are obsessed with legacy. If I write a great book, I live on through my words. If I have children, I live on through my DNA. If I become a CEO and build a skyscraper, I live on through the building. If I die fighting for my country, I live on in the history books. We desperately need to feel like we are part of a significant universe. We need to believe the world has meaning, and that we are valuable contributors to that meaning. Because if the world has meaning and we matter, then death isn't the end. We are part of the eternal story. This is why self-esteem is so important to us. In TMT, self-esteem isn't just about feeling good, it is a shield against death. If you get a promotion, your anxiety goes down. Why? Because you have proven that you are a valuable person in a meaningful cultural system, capitalism. You have justified your existence. You have secured your symbolic immortality. But if you get fired, if you get dumped, if you fail, the shield cracks. The terror seeps in. You feel worthless, and worthless is just a synonym for dead. Now you might be thinking, this sounds like a nice philosophical theory, but can you prove it? Yes, we can. Psychologists Sheldon Solomon, Jeff Greenberg, and Tom Pyszczynski have spent 30 years running experiments on this. They developed a technique called mortality salience. They take a group of people and remind them of death. They ask them to write down in detail what will happen to their bodies when they die. It's unpleasant, but it's brief. Then, they test how those people behave compared to a control group who wrote about something boring, like dental pain. The results are terrifyingly consistent. When you remind people of death, they cling harder to their worldview, and they become aggressive toward anyone who threatens it. In one famous study, they took actual municipal court judges in Arizona. They asked half the judges to think about their own death. They asked the other half to think about nothing special. Then, they gave all the judges a hypothetical case, a prostitute arrested for solicitation. They had to set the bail bond. The control group set the bail at an average of $50. The judges who had been reminded of death set the bail at an average of $455. Why? Why did thinking about death make them punish a prostitute 9 times harder? Because the prostitute broke the rules of the culture. She violated the moral code. When the judges faced their own mortality, they subconsciously needed to assert that the law is real. They needed to defend their cultural worldview, because that worldview is the only thing protecting them from the void. By punishing the rule breaker, they reaffirm the structure of their reality. We see this everywhere. When people are reminded of death, they become more patriotic. They are more likely to vote for charismatic, authoritarian leaders who promise law and order. They become more religious. They become more greedy. Studies show that when you remind people of death, they say they want to be rich. Money is a score. Money is a symbol of value. If I am rich, I am important. If I am important, I cannot die. But here's the darkest part of the theory. This explains war. If my cultural worldview, my religion, my country, my ideology, is the thing that protects me from death, then I need to believe that my worldview is absolute truth. But if I meet you, and you have a different worldview, you are a threat. If you worship a different God, and you seem happy and functional, then maybe my God isn't real. And if my God isn't real, then I am going to die. Therefore, I cannot just disagree with you. I have to destroy you. I have to prove that my truth is the only truth. We kill each other not because we are hateful, but because we are terrified. We go to war to prove that our immortality project is the correct one. The Crusaders killed for Christ to prove Christ would save them. Nazis killed for the Aryan race to prove the race would outlast them. We try to kill death by killing people who make us doubt our story. This is why we are so tribal. This is why politics has become so toxic. When you argue with someone about politics, you aren't just arguing about tax rates. You are poking holes in their immortality shield. You are exposing them to the terror, and they will attack you like a cornered animal to make it stop. So what do we do with this information? It seems incredibly bleak. We are all just running on a hamster wheel, chasing money and fame and flags, just to distract ourselves from the grave. Is there a way out? Well, there are 2 options. Option 1 is the blue pill. You keep doing what you are doing. You chase the promotion. You buy the nice car. You wave the flag. You immerse yourself in the distraction. It works. It keeps the anxiety away. But you will always be a slave to your need for validation. You will be a puppet on the strings of your own fear. Option 2 is the red pill. You accept it. You look at the terror. You acknowledge that you are a temporary creature. You acknowledge that the universe doesn't care if you are a CEO or a janitor. You acknowledge that in 100 years, nobody will know your name. This sounds depressing, but it is actually the ultimate freedom. If you realize that legacy is a lie, you stop doing things for people who haven't been born yet. If you realize that status is just a defense mechanism, you stop caring what your neighbors think of your car. If you realize that your culture is just a made-up story, you stop hating people who have a different story. You can stop trying to be a god and just be an animal. You can just enjoy the sun on your face. You can enjoy a meal with your friends. You can do work that you actually enjoy, rather than work that makes you look important. The philosopher Albert Camus called this the absurd. He said life is meaningless, but we should live it anyway. We should rebel against the void by creating our own meaning, not the meaning society hands us to keep us quiet. You are going to die. That is the only guarantee you have. You can spend your life trying to build a monument that will eventually crumble, just to pretend you aren't leaving. Or you can accept that you are a tourist here. You don't own the hotel. You are just passing through. So you might as well raid the minibar and enjoy the view while you can. The choice is yours. But just remember, the next time you feel that burning need to win an argument, or buy a watch you can't afford, or check how many likes your photo got, ask yourself, is this what I actually want? Or am I just scared of the dark? See you in the next one.